like soft-spoken, because I had never really done like a soft-spoken video before, and like when I tried it sounded weird. So also I'm back in my white leather chair that I used to sit in when I first started making videos, and if you've been around that long, you know the reason I stopped sitting in it is because it makes a lot of noise, like this. And of course it didn't do it. So if you hear any weird noises that kind of sound like a fart, it's the chair, I promise. So yeah, like I said, this is gonna be a tattoo tour video. I have around 28 or 29 tattoos. Honestly, sometimes I count and then I forget, so I don't really keep count of them, I guess, but also it kind of depends. Some of them, like this heart that I have here, these two hearts, like you could count that as one tattoo or two tattoos. So, like it's one piece, but it's technically two tattoos, so I don't know. But yeah, I decided that I'm gonna just go in like limb order, I guess. Like I'm basically just gonna do like one arm and the other arm, then like my torso, and then my legs. I was originally gonna go in like chronological order of when I got the tattoos, but I'm gonna have to like adjust the tripod and all that so that I can get my legs in there, and it would have been annoying to just be going like up and down and all around on my body. So this way I think will be easier. But yeah, before I get started, if you like my videos, or if you like this video, if you just found my channel and you like this video, please leave me a like and a comment and subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe, or you're subscribed already, make sure you have notifications turned on with that little like bell button that's down under the video. Because if you don't turn that on, even if you're subscribed, YouTube won't send you notifications when I make a video, which is weird, but yeah. So I've been getting tattoos for, I guess this year it'll be 10 years, because I got my first one back in 2015, in like December of 2015. So it's pretty crazy, right? But yeah. So, my first tattoo is this one. This little thing right there. This. It's the Fearless rune from the Mortal Instruments. I don't like having the camera this close to me. Yeah, it's the Fearless rune from the Mortal Instruments series, if you're familiar with those books. This one, since it was my first tattoo, I spent, a lot of time thinking about it, and like, I actually wanted it for like 4 or 5 years, I think, before I ended up getting it. And before I feel like I should keep showing it, so that you're not just looking at my chest, but there's not really that much to see there. It's just kind of, it is what it is. Oh yeah, there. It's kind of backwards. I don't know. Here, wait. Yeah, there we go. It is upright to me, which if you get tattoos or you watch anything having to do with tattoos, you'll know that tattoo artists always like bitch about people wanting to get tattoos that are upright to them, as if it's some kind of crime. But like, I'm the one who's gonna look at my tattoos more than anyone else, and I've even seen people like make fun of that reasoning. The reasoning that I should be able to see it better than anyone else because I'm the one who's gonna be looking at it. Which is stupid, because I'm not paying money for other people to enjoy something about my body, you know? You know what, it just occurred to me that instead of moving the whole tripod, I could just zoom in the lens. Not very smart of me. Anyway, yeah, so I got that tattoo just at like a random shop in the area that I live in. The shop was recommended to me by like a coworker, but I just kind of went in and was like, I'd like to get this, and they slapped it on there. So, I mean, it's almost 10 years old, so I think it's aged pretty well. But you can see like the little, like the small area. Like, do you see where hold on. Like, do you see where like the point of it is? Like, there's that eye-looking thing, and there's like a tiny little gap right there. Like, you can see that's kind of closing up a little, and it used to be bigger, and the area underneath, like the, what you could call like the pupil of the eye, is kind of looking a little, like, it's looking a little less open than it used to. But it is what it is. I could probably get it touched up with white sometime, but I'm not really that worried about it at the moment, honestly. We'll see how it looks in another 10 years. So yeah, that was my first tattoo. And I actually have a funny story about that, because when I got it, I didn't tell my parents. Like, I had talked to them a little bit about, and I was 18 at the time, so... Actually, no, I was 19. I'm not sure if I was 18 or 19. But my birthday's in October, so... It's not like I turned 18 and immediately went out and got it, but anyway. I basically didn't tell them that I got it. And then I went on a trip abroad, my first trip abroad, and I didn't have, like, a SIM card or anything. So, I was like, oh yeah, just add me on Instagram, and you can see my pictures and stuff like that. Like, I'll post pictures on there, and you can see what I'm doing. And my parents didn't follow me on Instagram before that, and I had posted, like, a video of me getting the tattoo, and I forgot about it. So I got on, like, the bus in the morning and got on the Wi-Fi for the first time, and I saw that my parents had both liked it, and that was how they found out I had a tattoo. So, yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. So my next tattoo was, it was this writing on my wrist. This isn't a very good way to show it. And this rose. But yeah, so that tattoo, I got, the writing says, Ad viam inveniam ad faciam, which is Latin for, I will either find a way or make one. And I think that's a quote from Hannibal. You know, the general. He's not really the reason that I got it, I just like the quote. I have a lot of tattoos that are kind of like inspirational tattoos. As if getting like a nice phrase tattooed on me would somehow give me, you know, strength and fortitude and lack of fear and whatever, but, so yeah, I got that. I also I just like Latin a lot. So yeah, and I spent like hours looking for the font, the particular font that it is on my wrist. And originally, I was gonna get that tattoo done at the same time as the Fearless Rune one. And I had that exact font that, like, my tattoo is. And so I rolled up at the tattoo shop and I showed it to him, and he was like, oh, well, instead of doing that font, here, let me just... And he wrote it out in, like, some fancy lettering, and, like, it was fine lettering, but it was, like, not anything like the font that I came in with. And it's like, why do you think I came in with this font? Like, just for funsies? No, because that's the one I wanted tattooed. So I was like, no, we're not doing that. Just give me the one rune. And he was like, oh, whatever. So, the tattoo artist that I went to, this was the first time that I traveled for a tattoo. Just like 2 hours, but yeah, I basically don't get tattooed in my immediate area. I always go somewhere else. And so this tattoo artist I found on Instagram, because I was looking for watercolor tattoo artists. And the geometric rose, my friend actually made for me. And, it was my former best friend. At the time, we weren't really close anymore. But I guess we were close enough for me to ask her to make me some art, and she made it, so... She drew it, and she painted it. The watercolor. And, it's kind of interesting, because, like, getting a tattoo that was designed for you by a person that you, like, no longer have any connection to, as far as the tattoo goes, I do still like it, obviously. And I think the watercolor really held up well, like especially the dots of, paint. So, yeah, obviously the Latin quote is a little, like, it's spread out a bit too, and especially the dots of the eyes are kind of blown out, because he, like, left them off. Like, the dots were really high in the original font, like, they were higher than they are now. And so I was like, well, yeah, you can just leave them off, kinda. And he, like, tattooed it, and I was like, well, no, I still want the eyes to have dots, just dot them like normal eyes, like, you know how to write, don't you? I didn't actually say that, but, so he dotted them, and now the dots are all, the one on the very last word is kinda okay. But if you're not familiar with, like, blowout with tattoos, it's basically when they go too deep and the ink, instead of being in, like, the dermis, the second layer of skin, it's in, like, the fat that's underneath, like, the subcutaneous fat. And, like, fat and connective tissue doesn't hold ink the way that skin does, so it, like, spreads out. And it can look like a shadow, or it can just make it look really thick. And in the case of mine, I have a couple that are kind of blown out. It just makes it look thick. I don't have any ones where it's like a really widely spread shadow. Like some of them, if you look it up, it looks like the person has a bruise under their tattoo. But that bruise is never gonna go away. It's always gonna be there. So anyway, I got those two tattoos in, I had to go back through my, like, pictures and remember exactly when I got them at. I got them in May of 2016. So they're pretty old as well. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, the funny thing about the Latin tattoo is that it's spelled wrong. And I know I didn't spell it wrong, but I don't really know how that happened. The word invenium, it's invenium with an M at the end, but somehow it came out as invenian with an N. And like the M's looked distinct from the N, but I know I didn't type it wrong. And when I got it done, I was just so happy that it was in the correct font and he wasn't trying to, like, BS me about the font, that I don't know if maybe I just didn't look close enough. But maybe I did have a typo, I don't know. But we got home, me and my friend who went with me got home from driving 2 hours after my tattoo, and I looked at it and I was like, it's spelled wrong. But I looked it up and invenian doesn't mean anything, so it's not like it says something inappropriate now, it just says not a word in Latin. Not that anyone would ever really notice, so I kinda don't care. It's a little funny. But yeah. So, I was gonna go buy one arm then the other arm, and I just switched arms. It's not very smart of me. Well, going back to this arm, I guess I'll just go from top to bottom. I had this line on my finger. I don't think my camera's focusing, but there's really not much to focus on. It's a line on my finger. And I really just got that, like, for the hell of it. There wasn't really a reason. That's also a tattoo that I went to someone in my area for. And like I was talking about with blowout, you can see, focus on it. You can see that, like, it's really wide in some spots and, like, not as wide in others. And, like, it kind of looks a little, hold on. I think my hand's just too close. Excuse you. Whatever. Yeah, you can tell it doesn't look that great. And that's because, like, for one thing, fingers are kind of hard, I guess, because there is no muscle or, like, fat to pad it out. It's just skin and bone. But the guy who did it definitely, like, pressed way too hard. Like, I basically just did it as, like, a walk-in at a studio. And I think mostly the reason that I did it is because I wanted to try using, if you've ever heard of, like, Tegaderm, like, those clear adhesive bandages that you get on top of, like, like an IV, if you get surgery or whatever. They were getting popular at the time, and this was back in, let me see, I got this in July 2018, this finger line, so it's held up nicely. Like, one of the things about finger tattoos is that they fade a lot because they're getting stretched over the bone, but I mean, it hasn't faded, which is a positive and a negative, honestly, but it's still kicking, so it definitely hasn't faded. But like I was saying, I got this because I wanted to try out Tegaderm on a tattoo, because I was worried that it would, like, ruin the tattoo. I was gonna get this one that's on my chest, which I'll talk about later. And I didn't want to like use that one as like a guinea pig tattoo for it, so I just got something simple. And this is actually my most painful tattoo. Like, I've sat for like 8 hours a session, or like, you know, gotten full color pieces, and this is the most painful one. It felt like he was trying to cut my finger off with the tattoo needle. And it like didn't take, it probably took like 5 minutes or something. Like, it didn't really take long, but I was just like, damn. Like, will my fingertip be attached to my finger after this? That's probably part of the reason it blew out too. And like, when it healed, the skin was like, there was like the line, and the skin around it was like kind of flayed almost, like it was sticking up. I've never had that with any other tattoo. So I guess that, maybe it's because of finger skin, or maybe it's because you pressed too hard. It's hard to say, honestly. But I mean, I have tattoos on my knuckles, like this one goes onto my knuckle. And I didn't have an issue like that. And your knuckle is basically the same as your fingers, like, not much muscle, not much fat, only bone and skin. But anyway, then I have this, I can't tell if my camera's focusing or not. So that is, in Japanese, it's honestly, if you've ever seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's the thing that Jotaro is always saying, like in part 3. I mean, it's a pretty famous, like, catchphrase, I guess, for anime. It's, yare yare daze. And, like, that doesn't really translate into English that well. But if I was an anime character, I think that would be my catchphrase. And the thing with that is that, like, daze is kind of, it's like a masculine thing. Like, I don't know how to describe it really, but, like, it's just an ending that, like, men use. Like, usually if girls say it, they just say, like, yare yare, or, like, yare yare da, or yare yare dawa. They don't say daze, because it just sounds really masculine. But personally, I'm the kind of person who curses a lot, and I like cursing. So I think if I was gonna say it, then I would probably say the most severe version. Because, like, in Japanese, the more, like, rude something is, the more masculine it is. And, like, the more rude and masculine it is, obviously, like, the harsher it is. So, yeah. And that one I got as a pair with this one. Actually, I didn't get it by the same artist, so it's not truly a pair, but I got them in the same position because I thought it looked cool, and it does. And I'll talk about that one when I get to this hand, but they do kind of go together since they're in the same placement. And so this one, the Japanese one that I just showed, I got September 17th, 2020. September 17th, 2020. That was the first tattoo that I got after, like, the whole COVID thing started. And yeah, it's a fine line tattoo. And like I said, I did get it in 2020, so it's like almost 5 years old, and it still looks as good as the day I got it, so people are always talking shit about fine line tattoos, but, like, yeah, and it's on my hand too, so I think it's held up quite nicely. And yeah, that one didn't hurt that much, surprisingly. Like, people always ask me if hand tattoos are painful, and, like, they do hurt, but it's not as bad as you would think. To me, anyway. So next I have this big old snake. The placement is kind of interesting because it, like, kind of overlaps. I don't know, I mean, your forearm isn't really flat. You have that weird, it's the radial ulnar joint that lets you do this. So, like, yeah, I guess if I hold my arm so that joint is straight, then it, yeah, but it's just on this side it wraps over a some shading and stuff, and I got the white as well. Yeah, I named it Carl the Corn Snake. Whenever I name stuff, I usually just go with the first thing that pops into my head. It's not even a corn snake, but you know, I guess I could have named it Carl the Copperhead Snake. It's not a copperhead either. I don't know if I used a particular snake for a reference. And I got it because, well, at the time, there was a lot of, like, snake and peony tattoos going around. And so I guess it was just, like, a popular thing to get. I guess it's my version of, like, the Polynesian armband or whatever. But yeah, I really like it. And these peonies are kind of like Art Deco-y. I think they call it neo-traditional, neo-dread or whatever. There's a lot of German tattoo artists that do this particular, like, Art Deco kind of style. I really like Art Deco. And so, like, these peonies were inspired by that. Like, I used some of their pictures as a reference. Like, you can see, like, especially the line work that's on the petals and stuff like that. Like, the lines on the petals. That's especially, like, the whole, like, neo-traditional thing. A funny thing about this tattoo is this one peony doesn't have any lines connecting, like, the circles. I don't know what those circles are, like the pollen, I guess, to the, like, middle thingy. Like, you can see in this one and in this one, there's lines. But he forgot them in this one. I noticed that randomly one day, and I was like, whatever. It's like an Easter egg, like in a movie. The funny thing about this one, too, is that when he did my, like, the part that's on my elbow there, you can see that's a little blown out, honestly, but it's whatever. When he got to, like, right here, that's, like, right on the bone, and, like, I've seen some things where people, like, you know, make noise when they get a tattoo, like, they cry out, or they, I don't know, make a noise in pain or whatever. I've never really done that, but when he was doing the white, he was, like, doing little dots of white, and he went in for a dot, like, right on top of the bone, like, right here, and it, like, hit the nerve, like, it hit my funny bone, and I was like, oh, you know, I was like, didn't like that very much. And then, of course, I was embarrassed that I had, like, made a noise, but it's whatever. So, yeah, this one I like a lot. This is probably my most, like, I mean, obviously, it's on my entire forearm, and, like, I have my sleeves rolled up a lot, like, at work. Like, I push them up, so it gets seen a lot. And, yeah, I like that one. My next one is this Barely There. This vampire lips. I've actually been getting this one removed. Yeah, it's really light. I've had a lot of sessions, though. It used to have shading, like, in the lips, like, stipple shading, and clearly it doesn't anymore. So, like, that came off all the way, but it's being kind of stubborn. And that one I got back in, let's see, October 2018. And it was just Flash. Like, I followed the tattoo artist, and they posted, like, Halloween Flash, and I was like, I like vampires. I'll get that. And the experience was so weird, because the shop that I went to, I'd been to it before, like, on an appointment that I had made, and I ended up not getting a tattoo from the same lady who did this, because she, like, didn't listen to what I wanted at all, and was just gonna do some other shit, basically. And I was like, no. So I left. I mean, I was polite. It's not like I was just like, fuck off, and left or something. But then, I think it was a year later that I came for this one. And it's kind of like a meme among, like, tattoo artists or whatever, that they don't remember, like, a lot of clients. Like, you know, someone will come in and they'll be like, oh, hey, it's nice to meet you, and that person will be like, you've tattooed me 5 times already. So I don't think she recognized me or anything from, seeing me for 5 minutes, or, like, 20 minutes. But, yeah, I came in, and the shop was, like, dead silent. Like, no one else was getting tattooed there. There might have been, like, one other person getting tattooed. And so all the artists were just sitting there, and, like, as soon as I walked in, they were just, like, staring at me, like, not saying anything. They were just, like, you know. And so I come in, and I get the tattoo, and the artist herself, like, didn't even say anything to me. said maybe like 4 words to me the entire appointment. And like the appointment didn't take long. It probably took like half an hour. But it was honestly like the weirdest experience I've had at a tattoo shop. So yeah, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. But yeah, also she was super heavy-handed, because like I have a tattoo, this like little eye-looking thing, that's in the exact same spot, and it didn't really hurt at all. But this one definitely was like a 5 out of 10 as far as pain goes. She was just like drilling it in there. I was like, can you not? Oh yeah, I just realized I forgot 2 of my tattoos. There's this little dagger and the words there. I'll put a better video. The little dagger was honestly just like, I saw it online. The one I saw online was like more realistic looking, but I didn't necessarily want it to be realistic looking. And I just got it because I was like, yeah, daggers are so tough. I'm so tough, you know. That one I got back in January 2017. So it was my 3rd and 4th tattoo. And the words, it says Kalapatakala, which is Greek. I think it's ancient Greek. I don't know if Plato said it, I forget. But it was in a book. It was in The Infernal Devices, which is the sequel to The Mortal Instruments. So clearly I like that series a lot, because that's what the rune tattoo is from. And it's a quote that has like 2 different meanings, kind of. One is like, beauty is harsh, which I guess kind of is like a little feminist, because it's like, oh yeah, like you can be beautiful, but you can be like harsh at the same time. And then like the more interpretive definition is like, the good things are hard to get. So it's kind of inspirational in that way too. Yeah, I do like it. The one thing that I regret about that tattoo is that it's like clearly legible. Like anyone can walk up and read it, and they do. Like with the Latin one, this one, it's not as easy to read, especially since it's oriented to me and not to the viewer. But since that one's kind of sideways and it's in just like Times New Roman, people will come up to me and look at it and be like, Kalapatakala, what does that mean? And then I have to like explain to them what it means. I feel like it's so like cheesy when someone asks you what your tattoo means, and you're like trying to explain like all the meaning and like sentiment that you put into it, and they're just kind of looking at you like, huh, you know, like you can't really explain it in like a minute or 2. But yeah, so I guess if I could redo that one, I would get it in cursive, so it's not as easy to read. And of course I didn't get it in the Greek alphabet because I can't read the Greek alphabet. Like I have my Japanese tattoos that are in Japanese because I can read it. That's one thing, but like I'm not Greek. I don't know anyone who's Greek. I don't have any connections to Greece or like to the Greek language. So I just got it in English, you know, the English alphabet. And then of course there's this whole like oh, I just realized I left out 2 tattoos. So the first one that I got is this one, the one with the angel and the girl. That's a famous painting. I actually don't know what it's called. Oh wait, isn't it called like Romantic Encounter or something? I basically saw the painting and I really liked it. Like, you know, there's just something so touching about the way that they're kissing. And I got it, the tattoo artist that I got it from was recommended to me by one of my coworkers who had gotten tattooed by her. And this chick was also like an hour and a half, 2 hours away in a different state from where I live. And so she actually had that painting as like a one and do. Like, you know, some tattoo artists will have like designs that they post that they want to do, and so you can get them. And that's why it's in kind of like a square, like it's not the whole painting. I do like the fact that his wing is like coming out of the square. In the painting there's like a window behind them, and like I kind of liked the window, but I was putting it in a small space, so you know, the smaller tattoo is the less detail it can have really. And so yeah, I got that one in it was May 5th, 2022. So it's almost 3 years old. The lady who tattooed that made a big stink about it being upside down. She was like, oh, I never tattooed anything upside down before. And even when she posted it on Instagram, she was like, it's upside down. Like, just flip the picture. The funny thing about this one, though, is that, I don't know, you can't really see it. Like, it looks fine to me, but if I ever show it to anyone else, they look at it and they're like, I don't know what that is. canvas. I can't really show it that well. That was also done by the artist who did the angel painting. And yeah, I basically just got it as like a gap filler. So this is my only completed limb, this forearm right here. Everything else is still a work in progress, I guess. And probably will be for quite some time. Yeah, the reason that I got water lilies is because I like them. They're pretty. But there's a place near where I live, like a botanical garden that has like this whole huge like water lily setup. And like I remember going there for field trips when I was a little kid and just being like amazed by the water lilies. Because they're beautiful and they're crazy, you know, like you don't see that every day. So I guess it's a core memory. But yeah, ultimately I like them because they're pretty. And that's that. So that's this arm. Oh, I got the water lilies, let's see, 11/3/2022. So I got them later that year after I had gotten the angel. Yeah, so onto this arm. So first I have this hand tattoo. It's like filigree with like a garnet and pearls. Originally it was just the top part, just the top filigree. And I got it added on too because I want to have like this whole forearm, like basically covered in like an Art Deco jewelry type of thing. But the thing is that this tattoo did not come out how I wanted it to. It, like you can see the pearls are like yellow. They were supposed to be white. Like it looks like they came out of a clam that had jaundice because it was an alcoholic. And honestly, like the center stone doesn't really look that spectacular either. Like the artist that I went to, his work was like amazing, and he was always doing like this super realistic like pearls and gemstones and metal looking stuff. And like the bottom part, he added that on. The bottom half of it does look good, but it doesn't like, it looks weird. Like the top half is clearly distinct from the bottom half, and that's not what I wanted. And like the gem doesn't really even look like a realistic gem. It just kind of looks like, people always ask me if it's a ladybug, which like, yeah, I can see that. Like if you look at it from not my point of view, it looks like a ladybug. It doesn't look like a realistic gem. And the thing that pissed me off about that is like in the past I've gone to tattoo artists who are like in the immediate vicinity of me, or like, you know, an hour away or something like that, and not like the best of the best, you know. Like when you see a tattoo artist on Instagram and they've got 100,000 followers and like their work looks unreal. Like I never went to an artist like that before. And so this artist who did this hand tattoo was one of those artists. Like he was from South Korea and he was doing a guest spot in New York City. And I was like, I know it's gonna be expensive, but like he is the best. And I wanna go to a tattoo artist like that. I don't wanna have any regrets because I thought, oh, I could have gone to someone better. And so I went to the best. And I hate it, honestly. Like it did not come out that good. Especially the pearls, because like I personally don't like yellow. Like I have some tattoos with yellow in them, and I don't like yellow. Like I discovered that. Like I just don't think I like warm toned colors, and yellow is like the warmest toned color you could possibly find. So, needless to say, I'm gonna have to get it lightened, you know, lasered. And I'm probably gonna like just have it lightened up enough that I can have it like added onto by whoever does like the arm piece. But that's probably gonna be not for a while, because first of all, this one that I'm getting lasered off, I've been getting that one lasered for like 2 years and it's not gone yet. So, but also lasering is pretty expensive. It's like a lot more expensive than getting the tattoo is. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait on that. And of course, the older the tattoo is, and like the older it is, the more it can like have lightened up a little bit. And the lighter, you know, the tattoo is, easier it is to laser, so maybe that'll be to my benefit. But yeah, I mean, it's like a nice looking tattoo, like objectively speaking, other than the fact that the stone looks like a ladybug. But yeah, I got that one back in, let's see, the top one, the original piece I got May 21st, 2018, and then I got it added on to March 6th, 2023, so it's 2 years old. honestly, like, the really light stuff at the top is held up pretty well. Focus. Like, you know, the white stayed really well. And, focus on my hand, not me. Jesus. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Then the next one I have is this, like, motorcycle key. I'll just have to put it in a video, because you can't really see it. This is the key from my first motorcycle. It was a Honda Rebel. To be honest, I'm probably gonna get it removed eventually. But the reason that I got it was because I had seen, like, there was this chick on Instagram who was, like, a motorcycle influencer. And she had a tattoo of her first motorcycle's key. And, you know, I feel like the sentiment with motorcycle riders is like, oh, you never forget your first motorcycle. And, like, I liked my first motorcycle. Its name was Cecily. It was a white Honda Rebel with, like, you know, chrome. It was a nice bike. But the thing about that bike is that, like, I learned how to ride on it. And pretty much as soon as I knew how to ride, it was too small. Like, I would have to shift up into second gear just to make the turn out of my neighborhood. And I mean, I would have to start turning, shift up into second, and complete the turn. And I was like, yeah, it's just too small, because it was a 250cc motorcycle. I upgraded to a Harley Iron 1200, which is a 1200cc, and I like that one a lot better. Like, honestly, like, I wouldn't go back to my first one. And that time of my life was just, like, a really weird time, so I don't really look back on it fondly. So that tattoo just kind of doesn't have the meaning to me that it might have had. It's a good tattoo, though. Oh, and I got that one. Let me see. I think I got it in 2018. Yeah, September 2018. So then my next one is this, like, Motherboard eye. It's from the cover art of, the Ugly series by Scott Westerveld. It's from the new cover of Extras. Actually, I think it's not the newest one anymore, because they had the original covers, and then, they did, like, a remake of the covers with new art, and I think they did, like, another redesign after that. But, yeah, the cover of Extras was, like, an eye with makeup, and in the pupil of the eye was a motherboard, and so that's what that is. And I just got it because I really like that series. And that one I got back in January 19th, 2018, so it's pretty old, too, and it's held up really nicely. Like, you can still see the space between the lines, and, like, the white is still there, and, like, the little circles are still circling. So, pretty much all my tattoos are fine line tattoos, except for, like, maybe the initial ones that I got. And so, you know, I guess we'll see how they hold up over time, but they're holding so far. Knock on wood. So then the next one I think I got after that was this horse tattoo. And it's got, like, a little martingale type of thing with tassels. And it's kind of like an Art Deco style, too. Or not Art Deco, well, Art Deco, but, neo-traditional. And I really like that. My original design for it, it was going to be rearing, but I wanted, like, the horse's head to be visible the way it is, because I like how the front of a horse's head looks. And I could have had that head while it was rearing, but I didn't. I kind of regret that. I wish it was rearing, because, like, I feel like the legs look a little weird. Like, the picture that I found of the horse, it was, like, in mid-run. But, like, you know, it's whatever. I got it because I'm a horse girl. I grew up riding horses. I rode for, like, 5 or 6 years. And then I stopped, but I really wish I hadn't. And I would, if I could afford it, I would go back to riding horses in a heartbeat. I did get to go for a trail ride for my birthday through, like, a park 2 years ago, I guess, so that was nice. But yeah, I don't particularly have any affinity for, like, a specific color horse, so I just got a gray one. And it's got, like, little smoky lines around it. Originally what I wanted was, like, kind of stylized, like, clouds. Like, I kind of wanted to fill, like, the inside of my bicep. And she just kind of did that, and it's like, whatever. I'm probably gonna fill this area of my arm, well, you can't see it, fill, like, the front and back area of my arm, see that don't have anything on it, in between those tattoos, with, like something geometric, like some kind of Japanese pattern-y thing. So, I'll probably just, like, cover that smoky lines or whatever up with that. So then I have these two hearts, and one is, the bottom one is, like, a cross-section, like if the heart was cut in half, and then the top one is the heart from the outside. The only thing I regret about this is that this is the inferior vena cava, and this one doesn't have it. And originally, like when I got this tattoo, I noticed like at the very end of the session that it wasn't there, and she was like, "Oh, do you want me to put it on?" And I was like, whatever. It didn't have any writing in it, so I was like, it looks like a macaroni noodle, because it kind of does. So I was like, whatever, just leave it off. But like the whole point was that the hearts were gonna be like, they were gonna look the same, but they don't look the same because one of them doesn't have an inferior vena cava. So I wouldn't say that really bothers me that much, but maybe before I fill in the area with the there's something in my eye, maybe I'll get someone to add it on there before I like have it filled in. Hold on a sec. So the reason that I got those hearts is because I really like anatomy and physiology. I like, the human body, illnesses, like anatomical stuff, pretty much anything having to do with the human body. I like, I'm interested in that kind of thing. So that's basically my tribute to that. I never really had like a specific organ or whatever that I liked. So I guess I just went with the heart because it's sort of the most aesthetically pleasing. And ironically, me and my heart don't get along too well. I'm not gonna say like I have a heart problem, because I don't. I have like a serious heart problem. Knock on wood. I have PVCs, which is like premature ventricular contractions, and like not even to a level that it's like an issue necessarily. But like if you ever have your heart like, you're just minding your own business and your heart suddenly like skips a beat and it feels like your heart just like squeezed like that, like you got like a kick in the chest, that's a PVC. It's when one of the ventricles, the bottom parts, don't contract. They're supposed to contract at the same time together, but one of them contracts too early and your heart's like, what was that about? Your heart doesn't like that. But I was having them like a lot. Well, not a lot, but like a lot. Enough that it was uncomfortable. I was having like 100, 120 of them a day. And sometimes they would be on like consecutive beats, like 3 beats in a row, where my heart would fuck up. And that, I read, can lead to possibly like fibrillation, which is what they have to shock you for. So, potentially dangerous. So I got those hearts. I got the bottom one, July 6th, 2022. And the top one I got on September 15th, 2022. And there's a funny story behind those, because the artist that I got them from, she works near New York City. And I originally had contacted her about getting like the angel painting thing. But I didn't know, like basically, I hit up the 2 different artists at the same time. And the one who I got it from was the one who responded first. And so the artist who did the hearts didn't respond until like 3 months later or something. Like I hadn't even remembered that I had messaged her about a tattoo. When I saw the email being like, hey, yeah, I like the idea, let's make an appointment. And so I thought that I had messaged her about the hearts, because I had wanted to get them at the same time as I was wanting to get like the angel one. Like, I have a lot of tattoo ideas, and sometimes I'll decide on whichever one to get at whatever time. And so I thought she was talking about the hearts, and so I made the appointment, I went and I rolled up there, and she pulled out the design to show me, and it's the angel painting. And I was like, oh, because I had already gotten it for one thing, and for another thing it was way bigger than what I wanted. So I was like, I kind of like freaked out a little bit. Honestly, I did like a travel vlog thing of me getting that tattoo, so if you want to watch it, you can. It was obviously a couple years ago, but yeah, so I told her like what had happened, and she was like, okay, well, I'm down to do the hearts though, so like, yeah. So I sent her my reference images, because I had them, because I was planning the tattoo already. And so she spent like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, drawing up the design, and like, she double checked with me for the labeling, because it would suck if it was labeled wrong, obviously. And so yeah, at that point, there was only enough time to do the bottom one, and so we made a follow-up appointment, and I came back a couple months later for the top one. She was cool about it, but yeah, I was really embarrassed. So, I think that's it for my arms. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about this one again. So this one, it says, Skina Jikoku Erande, and that's a quote from Jujutsu Kaisen. It's in the very beginning, Gojo people, like, the meaning that this has for me behind it. They always look at me like I'm crazy. But I feel like life is literally just, like, picking whichever hell is better, you know? And, like, there's sort of a there's, like, a little bit of defiance in that, like, 'cause hell sucks, like, you're not supposed to like hell. But if you pick a hell that you like, there's sort of, like, a defiance in that, like, you know? Like, I might be suffering, but I am suffering in a way that I enjoy. I don't know. It's really hard to put into words in a way that doesn't sound stupid. But also, I do be a Gojo fangirl. So, yeah. But it didn't really matter who said the quote. Like, I probably will get a Gojo tattoo, but I didn't get it because he said it specifically. I got it just because I liked the phrase. And yeah, it does look cool as, like, a companion to that other one. And the artist who did this, I got it done at a tattoo convention, but I had made an appointment with her. And I had initially tried to go to the tattoo artist that I went to originally for this tattoo. But he wanted to do it bigger, and I didn't want it to be that big because there really wasn't that much space, you know? Like, I didn't want it going on my wrist, really. So I ended up not getting it from him, and I got something else, which I'll show in a second because it's on my ribcage. But I made an appointment with her, and this tattoo was, like, a lot more expensive than what it really is. But she did it, and it looked great, and then it healed, and it looked like shit. Like, a lot of the lines fell out, and I was like, okay, I know this isn't my fault, because I have a fine line tattoo, in the exact same spot, and, like, this one that I have here, like, I've never gotten it touched up. It was just one and done. And so this one, a lot of the lines fell out, and she was like, I'll do a touch-up for free, but you had to come to New York, because she was from New York City. And so I went up there to the studio in Brooklyn, and I got it redone, like, retouched up, and when she saw it, she was like, oh, it healed pretty well for a tattoo on the hand, huh? And I was like, no. I didn't say that, obviously, because I'm not a bitch, but I was like, no, it didn't heal well. And, like, honestly, there are still some spots that are pretty light. Like, I would definitely get it touched up again if I could, but, like, whatever. And so this one I got February 27th, 2022, so it's 3 years old, and I got it touched up April 7th, 2022, so yeah, it's held up well since then. Part of it, too, is that, like, the skin on your hand is so, like, liney, and, like, your skin reflects the light, so when the light hits it, it makes the lines look a little lighter than they actually are. Next up is the torso. I only have 2 tattoos here. I have this one, this pistol, and then I have this one, which is obviously kind of hard to show. Yeah, it's like that. So this one is the one I got first out of the 2, and it's on my sternum, which is a notoriously painful area. And it's basically just, I don't know the word for it, but it's like a tie ornamental design. And there was a stretch of time when I was, like, really obsessed with Sakian tattoos. But, like, I wanted to get one, and of course if I had gotten one, I would have gone to Thailand and, like, gotten it the right way by a monk and stuff like that. But, I don't have any particular, like, connection to, like, Thailand or the Thai culture, or, like, any special interest, I guess, in it, which, like, sounds bad. But this design was, like, just really pretty, like, from an ornamental perspective. So that's really why I got it. And I found out that this artist who did it, she was at the same studio as the chick who did, like, the eye one, and, like, the dagger and the Greek, but it was a different artist. And I basically really wanted to get it done, because I had the idea for a long time, and so I went up there and I did a walk-in. And the artist who did it, it was her first sternum tattoo, and I didn't find that out until after she did it. And, like, the sternum, like, if I had known that, I probably wouldn't have let her do it, because the sternum is, like, it's a weird area. Like, she was just, like, done being an apprentice, basically. And, like, you know, the sternum, the skin is thin, there's just bone underneath, and it's constantly moving because you're breathing the entire time that they're doing it. So, like, the lines on this one kind of spread out a lot more than, like, other tattoos that I have. Like, it still looks fine. I mean, I probably will get it lasered off eventually, and I'm gonna get the same design redone as, like, a gap filler on my tattoos, probably like my elbow ditch on the front and the back eventually, but yeah. And also, it's crooked. Like, oh, this isn't gonna work, hold on. Oh. Yeah, like basically, there's the tattoo. I don't know if you can really tell, but yeah, like they lined it up when they were doing the stencil, but like it doesn't go straight to my belly button. Like this goes like, it's slanted. Like, yeah, I don't know if you can really see it, but trust me on that. Maybe I was standing on like one foot instead of both, which is something that they should have caught. Like, you know, when you get your hair cut, if you're sitting with your legs crossed, it makes the haircut crooked. Maybe it was something like that, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that it hugely bothers me, because honestly, it doesn't. But I got that one done September 2018. And so the next one that I have is, this isn't gonna work. Well, the next one that I have is this, pistol. Yeah, it's like an ornamental pistol, and then it says TAS. And I think it's funny, I got the trigger card to go around this mole. Because, you know, they say it's not good to cover up moles with a tattoo. Because, you know, if the mole becomes cancerous or whatever, then you can't really tell. Not that I think that one's going to particularly, but I don't know, if I decided to get that mole removed, it might be an issue with the tattoo. But I just didn't want to cover it up with that, so TAS stands for my book that I've been writing for quite some time. I came up with the idea when I was in like 7th grade. It's the initials of like the series name. Eventually I want to get it published. And it's a pistol because they shoot guns a lot. And you know, I grew up shooting guns, so I kind of like guns. I guess aesthetically. And I also like filigree a lot, so that's why it has filigree on it. I just thought it was pretty. And I got that one done. That was done by the same artist who did the one Japanese on my hand. That was done May 16th, 2021. So it's 4 years old. And yeah, I was gonna say the sternum one and the pistol, they were pretty painful. And it's hard because you're breathing the entire time, and like, I always felt like, oh, I don't want to mess them up by moving too much. But like, they expect you to be moving because you're breathing, so it was definitely an interesting experience to get. I think it took maybe like 3 hours. Yeah, the pain wasn't unbearable or anything like that, but I don't know if I'm gonna get one on the other side for my other book series to match. It's not gonna be a pistol, but it's gonna be something similar. Obviously it wasn't so painful that it put me off the idea of getting another one, but yeah, it was pretty painful. Onto my legs now. Can you see it? No. Well, okay, this is I'm doing like an anime leg sleeve. So this is the first anime tattoo that I got. It's from the show Invaded. It's probably one of my favorite anime. It's definitely one of my favorite, like, underrated anime. And it has 2 quotes above and below it from the character in the show. And yeah, I got that one done in New York City. Let's see, I got that one done that was during the pandemic too. September 8th, 2021. And so the one below it, I'll have to put in a video. That one's from Golden Kamui. I actually just got that one done back last April 12th, 2024. So, yeah, that one's about a year old. I guess it's not quite a year old. It'll be a year old soon though. And that one has a funny story too. I went to San Francisco for that one, which seems pretty random, but I followed the artist on Instagram for a long time and I really liked her work. And I have a family member who lives in San Francisco. Ironically, when I went, he was out of town, so I didn't get to see him. So that tattoo, I sent it to the artist, and she was like, yeah, cool. It should take like 4 hours. And so it did not take 4 hours. It took 8 hours. And so I didn't eat all day. I just got tattooed for 8 hours straight. And she charged hourly. And like at one point I started to realize, I don't know if I can afford this anymore. And obviously it was too late to be worrying about that because like it was being done. So for the last like 2 hours of the tattoo, I was just like doing the math in my head over and over and over again and being like, well, maybe it hasn't been 8 hours, maybe it's only been like 6 hours of like tattooing time. Because a lot of artists savings account, and I also have the money that I saved up for this, and there was the deposit that I paid. And so I was basically just like freaking out. I was like, is she gonna call the police on me if I tell her that I can't pay for this? So like, suffice it to say, it was not a fun last 2 hours of that tattoo. Like the first 4, or the first, whatever 8 minus 2 is, the first 6 hours, we were like yapping and having fun and whatnot. And so at the end of the tattoo, finally when it was done, I think we were all pretty tired at that point. Like I had brought a friend with me and she'd been just sitting around reading a book for 8 hours. The artist was like, look, I messed up when I quoted you that, so I'll give you a discount. Instead of charging like such amount hourly like I usually do, I'll charge $50 less an hour. So I ended up saving a good couple $100, and you know, I could afford it. But basically I had brought cash, because like I'm always pretty paranoid when I go to a tattoo appointment. Like I never want to be in the situation of not having enough money. And so, you know, I save up for my tattoos. And usually the artist will be like, okay, I'm gonna charge $250 for this tattoo. And so I'll save up like $400. Because like, you know, part of it is tipping, and also like, I want to have extra money just in case it ends up taking longer, especially for an hourly tattoo. Because the artist will be like, oh, it usually takes me 4 hours to do a tattoo of this size, but it might take 5 in this case, or it might take 3 instead of 4. Like, there's always some variability. And so I always want to have, like, an extra 2 hours worth of money, and then, like, an extra however much to dip with. And, like, ideally, I would have some left over after that for me to continue saving for my next tattoo or for whatever else. And so I had brought cash to the appointment. Like, I had paid a deposit, which came off of the price, and I had brought cash. And so I was like, the cash that I had brought wasn't enough to cover it, so I was like, can I Venmo you the rest? And she's like, yeah. And so I told her, like, that I had been afraid that she was gonna call the cops on me or whatever. And she was like, no, I wouldn't have. And I was like, you know, but it just sucks being like a client and then not being able to pay or something. Like, you know, I would be really embarrassed if that happened to me. I would feel like so terrible. And like, you know, obviously I would be like, let me Venmo you the rest when I have it, or like whatever. But I don't want to be that person in the first place. And you know, technically I've never been that person because I ended up affording it with that tattoo. But like, yeah, it was a long 2 hours. So then I have, let's see if I can hold it up. This tattoo. This one. It's the anti-demonic possession symbol from, Supernatural. But it's like chrome. Like the car. I got that tattoo done by a Korean tattoo artist who was doing a guest spot in New York City, and she like specializes in chrome tattoos. And I am very happy with it. One thing is it kind of needs to touch up. Like some of the spots are just really light. But I'm probably gonna end up trying to have someone in the area do it because I'm not flying to Korea just for a touch up. Like that would be crazy. Like if I could afford it then I would, but like that would be way too expensive. The ironic thing is that she was in New York City for a guest spot and I got tattooed by her. And then immediately after that I went to South Korea because I went to visit a family member who was living there at the time. I actually have a video talking about that, or 2 videos, so if you want to check that out you can. That tattoo was done, it was July 14th, 2023, so it's almost 2 years old. Yeah, it didn't really hurt that much. I think it took like 4 hours. It is on my shin, but fine line tattoos don't really hurt as much as like heavier ones. So my next 2 tattoos are more runes from the Mortal Instruments. One is Fortitude and the other one is Perseverance. And yeah, it was just more inspirational tattoos. Oh, I realized I forgot one of my anime tattoos. That one I just got back in January. Yeah, so I got that one January 2025. And that's Lies from Dungeon Meshi. Delicious in Dungeon. And he's holding walking mushrooms, but of various kinds that aren't in the anime or manga. Just the kind of mushrooms that I like. And then I got the Winged Lion in like sort of an Art Deco-y type of way. He's got the set of wings and then another set of wings on top. Yeah, it did come out really nice. Like the thing that I was saying about not liking yellow though kind of comes into play here because his hair is the wrong color. His hair is supposed to be like a khaki kind of color, and yeah, it's just really yellow. she didn't choose to make it the wrong color. Like, she chose a color that looked like it was the right color, and it wasn't. So I feel like having to explain a mistake to someone that they think isn't a mistake is weird. Like, you know, it's hard. How do you get them? Like, I mean, if I held up a picture of him and my tattoo, like, clearly those two yellow colors are different. But, like, I don't know how that happens, honestly, in the first place. But anyway, other than that, I do like it. The one thing is that the placement is one that I don't see that often. Like, I can see, like, the very edge of it whenever I look at my leg. And so, that's kind of sad, because, like, my thing with tattoos is that I want to be able to see them with my own eyes. And I know that I can't really always do that. Like, even the pistol here is hard for me to see with my own eyes. But, and I can see lies if I, like, contort myself around all weird. But I can't really directly look at it. And I can look at it in the mirror, but, like, usually, if I'm in the bathroom, like, taking a shower or something, I don't get close enough to the mirror to really get a good look at it, you know? And of course, it's backwards if I look at it in the mirror. So, like, I'm planning on having, like, a half leg sleeve of anime stuff, and then the lower part with the supernatural tattoo will be, like, book quotes and, like, symbols from books and TV shows that I like sort of like a newspaper where there'll be, like, blocks of text with, like, images around them. That's what I'm planning on doing anyway. I don't know if I have enough quotes to be able to fill the majority of an entire limb, though. Like, the majority of my lower leg. So I guess we'll see what happens. And I have, like, a bunch of different anime pieces, like, planned out. So if I run out of room on my thigh, I might just extend it to my lower leg, too. But the point is that, for it to be a sleeve, there's gonna have to be stuff on the back. And if it's on the back of my leg, then I won't be able to see it. And part of me is like, what's the point of having a tattoo that I can't see with my own eyes? But, like, the other part of me wants a sleeve, so, like, it'd be stupid if only the front half of my leg was covered and the back was blank. So yeah. Anyway, I have, like I was saying, I have those rune tattoos, the Fortitude and Perseverance. And the Perseverance one, again, is kind of, like, some of the little, like, open spots are collapsing. And those ones, like I was saying about forgetting tattoos that I can't really see, those ones, I don't see them very often, so, like, a lot of times I forget that they're there, which is kind of crazy. But those ones were done, they were done in June of 2017. And I ended up going to, like, a random artist, because I was trying to go to, like, the place that did this one, and the other ones that I have, but they were closed. So they were like, oh, there's this other tattoo studio in the area that we like. So I walked in and I was like, can you do these tattoos? And he was like, yeah. And so I got them. I don't think they're terrible or anything, but yeah, they definitely, it could have been better, but whatever. I can get them touched up eventually. Like, the one is fine. It didn't have any, like, really small holes or whatever, like, small open spots. So then we're onto this leg, lastly, and I have, this rose right here on my shin, and yeah, I'll put a better video, because this is not good. That was my first shin tattoo, and that one took about 4 hours, and I actually read a book the whole time, so I won't say that it hurt a lot, but I imagine if I hadn't read a book, it probably would have hurt a lot. The white highlights definitely hurt. If you're not familiar with the whole white highlights thing, basically when you get a tattoo, the white is done all the way at the very end. So, parts of the tattoo that haven't been touched in a while, that are, like, swollen and sore, will get tattooed over again with white. It's definitely the most painful part of any tattoo. But I personally really like whiting, so to me it's worth it. But, yeah, when he went to do the white, basically he finished up the black work and was like, I'm gonna go have a smoke break or whatever. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And he was like, when I get back, we'll do the white. So I was like, my immersion with the book that I was reading was broken. So I was fully there for the white. And that tattoo was done December 2017. It was one of my biggest ones that I had at the time, because this one was done in 2019, so I hadn't had that yet. And the tattoo artist who did it actually passed away a few years later, so not that it has anything to do with my tattoo, but yeah, that's sad. The rose was splash that he posted, So we did that. I do think it's held up quite nicely. There's one of the leaves though that had, do you know, like when you get a pore that has like stuff in it, like a little head or whatever, and it's just like a circle, like a brown circle or whatever. One of the leaves had that at the edge, and he just like tattooed over it. So then, you know, I saw it eventually and like squeezed it out, and so there's just like a round shaped hole in the leaf. It's kind of funny. It's not really noticeable or anything, because like I think the leaf was only halfway on like that pore, so there's just sort of like a little like U shape that has no color. Yeah, and then I have the Japanese peony that's on the back of my leg, on the back of my calf. For this leg, I do plan on doing like a Japanese leg sleeve. So I'll expand that eventually. And yeah, that tattoo took about 5 hours, I think. And that was one of the heaviest like color ones that I have. Like I had trouble walking for a few days after I got it, because if you know that feeling like when you stand up and all the blood rushes down somewhere and it like really, really hurts. When I would stand up from like bed, that would happen. And so I would have to spend like a minute like slowly like standing up in increments to like let the blood flow down and stand up a little more and let the blood flow down again. Because that area swells a lot. Like I think the insides of your arms and like that part of your calf just swells a lot for some reason. And that one I got done back in November of 2020. So I guess that was during the pandemic too. I read a book the whole time, but toward the end of it, I was like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. Like I'm done with this. Like, can we be done soon? And then finally, my last one is this lady head, and that tattoo is gonna get lasered off. So basically, that girl head is from a painting by, I think his name is Brian Viveros, and he does paintings of like women with bullets, and I really like the painting. But the artist that I went to is the same one who did the key that I have on my arm, and he did traditional and realism, so black and white realism, which is what the key is, or color realism, which is what this was supposed to be. And in this case, like, realism was it looking like the painting. And so this was kind of a case of like miscommunication, but so he was gonna do it like color realism, and then the day before the appointment, he messaged me and he was like, oh, the bullets are gonna be hard, because they had like a lot of different colors in them and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, okay. So he was like, can we do the bullets like traditional? And what I thought he meant was, can we simplify the design of the bullets? And he did do that. Like, they're not, well, because it's traditional style. But one thing, me personally, I hate American traditional style tattoos. Like, whether it's the colors or like the lines being really thick, something about them just like is not for me. Like, I would never say anything bad about a person who had one, of course, but like, it is not the style for me. Like, I don't like, I guess because they use warm colors, I do not like warm colors. Like, I guess I found that out through trial and error or whatever, but I just really don't like warm colors. What I thought he meant was, can the shape of the bullets be traditional, but the color will still be normal? And I think I even confirmed that or something, and he was like, yeah. But what it turned out to be is that he did the bullets in full traditional style. Like, basically the whole thing is traditional style, and I guess the face is a little bit more like photorealistic to the painting. But I think, like, when it comes to tattooing faces, like, if you change anything even slightly, it makes the face look wrong. Like, the eyes, especially. So the eyes look weird. And, like, of course, to me, it's upside down, and upside down it kind of looks fine. But when it's right side up, like, it looks weird. And so that one actually took 3 sessions, and he even made a mistake on, like, the halo. Like, he was gonna do, he basically ghost lined it, which is where they do, like, light gray lines. And, you know, they get filled in with color, so the light gray kind of goes away. He filled in 2 of the halos with a heavy black outline. And then he was like, oh, whoops. And I was just like, okay, you can't undo that. So, like, 2 of the halo thingies just have dark black lines. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't look at it and, like, absolutely despise it, but, like, decided on a Japanese leg sleeve. Because I actually don't really like Japanese traditional either. Like, in the sense of, like, the colors. Like, they use the same, like, really bold and kind of garish, in my opinion, colors. And so, like, at first I didn't like Japanese traditional either. But then I, realized what it was about the style that I didn't like, and realized that, like, I could just get the colors to be cool toned instead of warm toned, and I would probably like it. Or to be fair, when I get the leg sleeve, it's gonna be mostly black and gray, with, like, pops of color, as opposed to the ones that are, like, very colorful. And, like, no shade to anyone who has a Japanese traditional tattoo. I mean, I do. But, yeah, it's just, the colors just aren't my thing. And so I got the lady head in October of 2018. It's on the older side. It's held up pretty well, unfortunately. But, yeah. So, if I could get it again, I probably wouldn't. Like, if I could get it redone by someone who would actually make it look exactly like the painting, even then I wouldn't get it done again, because, I want the leg sleeve now. But, yeah. So that's all my tattoos. This video is on the longer side, obviously, but I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to be getting plenty more tattoos in the future. I'll be back to doing true crime videos next week, undoubtedly. And like I said, leave me a like and a comment and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, have a good night. Bye.